Beautiful beaches of Naples, and it's been another gorgeous day here in Southwest Florida. We have dropped anchor at East Naples Community Park, not too far away from the beach. Zing Zang Championship Court, the site for the U.S. Pickleball Championships, powered by Margaritaville. Drew Felios with Melissa McCurley and Mark Renison. Minto, the proud sponsor of these great championships. This U.S. Open event continues to grow. An impressive first game by Kovalova and Wright.
So one of the things we saw early in this first game was how often both teams used a third shot drive. A drive is when you hit the ball low and fast. And sometimes people think that you should play the third shot slow and soft so it lands in the kitchen, forces your opponents to hit up, and that can be useful. There's another third shot drive. In that first game, Melissa, Yates and Jardine, they used drop 12 times, but they hit their third shot drive 9 of those times.
And how many unforced errors were there, Mark?
In total unforced errors, there were 7 total, not just off those drops and drives. And for Wright and Kovalova, guess what? They used drops more often, less often than drives. They had 11 drives on the third shot and just 9 drops.
What a very athletic move by Kyle Yates there to be able to step around that kitchen and do an inside out of the air. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we've seen this a couple of times from him, and you know, when I'm around the country coaching pickleball and people ask me, well, what is it that I need to do to be a great player, right? What is it that makes them the best? So the most important thing, if you really want to be an elite player, is how well you move on the court. You might have the nicest swing that anyone's ever seen, but if you can't get to the ball, you can't use that swing. And so we see 4 really athletic players here, ready and willing, and they can't get to every single ball, but that desire to chase it down, to find a way to get your paddle on it, that's the real key skill. That's an important foundation if you want to be an elite player.
First serves now in this game for Kovalova and Wright. Simone really had a look of determination as she came out of that break in action.
Oh yeah, there's a fierce competitor inside that pickleball player, that's for sure. And we're seeing it here.
Wow. Amazing. Wow.
That was definitely the rally of the match.
Yep. And
So
I think Simone's going to want to take a breather here, not because she's tired from the point, but because that last ball was ricocheted off the edge of her paddle, hit her in the face. Looks like she's okay.
Yeah, Lucy very effectively using that third shot drive to get she and Matt onto the kitchen line.
And when you use that drive, you're not trying to win the point with it. I mean, if you do win the point outright, that's a nice bonus, right? That happened in the last case. But what you're really trying to do is you're trying to hit it hard enough and low enough that what your opponents give back is something that you can pounce on, whether that's a high ball, whether that's a ball that goes to your partner who's coming into the net looking. So very often this third shot drive, which we see a lot of tonight, is used as a setup shot, which you're then hoping to elicit something that's weak that then you can pounce on and put away.
Look at Kyle Yates. Have not really seen his best stuff up to this point. Would you agree?
Well, we've seen some really athletic moves from him. He's really been working that outside of the kitchen. What's happening though is that they're mostly freezing him out. They're not letting him hit a ton of balls. He's having to work hard to get in on the play, and Simone's having to do the majority of the heavy lifting here.
I think he heard me.
I think he did. He was ready then, wasn't he?
Yeah, and so players will know what's happening in this match. They know that Simone's being targeted right now, and so her responsibility really is to not lose them the point, to stay in it. And if there's that opportunity, we just saw it there, for Kyle to clean up all the garbage around the net that he can put away. So Simone's doing the hard work. Kyle's getting most of the credit.
And she's hit a couple of very smart shots, these last couple of shots. It's allowed Kyle to get in there and put the ball away. And we just saw him giving her some credit for being able to do just that.
Wow.
Did we just say something about the importance of being willing to chase the ball?
All right, he chased the ball down. We just talked about Simone setting him up, but how well did he just set her up?
5-1.
Yeah, so we've definitely seen a different game here, haven't we? A real big
6-1.
shift in momentum.
And I think it is clear who this crowd is behind. I mean, they appreciate great pickleball on both sides, but no doubt with Yates and Jardine, a little bit of extra buzz every time they have a point.
Well, I think the crowd wants to see a third game, Drew.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I was talking to Simone earlier, and she
6-2.
cut back on her lessons 2 weeks prior to coming in here to the U.S. Open, and she said she and Kyle did a lot of singles play together to help with some of the conditioning to be ready to play out here as well.
Well, Simone, of course, was the singles champion this year in this tournament. She and I, we spent a little bit of time on the court practicing beforehand. And one of the things that's we talked about the two-handed backhand being useful for power. The other thing that it's great for, and especially important in singles, is being able to disguise where you're going to hit that ball. Using that non-dominant hand is a really effective way to make your opponents think you're hitting one direction and then hit another. I know she fooled me a number of times.
I know we've talked a bit about Lucy and Matt's tennis background. Simone, she went to Auburn for 2 years and also Fresno State. She was #1 in the country in women's doubles. She was an All-American twice. She was also an assistant coach at Fresno State. Went on to William & Mary before then becoming the head coach at Michigan State University. She was there 8 years before moving here to Naples.
Already attempt by Wright.
Look how balanced these players are. So one of the things that's important, we talked about athleticism and getting to the ball. The more balanced you are when you're hitting the ball, the better chance you have to play it the way you want. And so what you're seeing here is players working really hard, not just to get their paddle on the ball, but to get behind the ball, to get well set up so they're on balance when they hit, whether it's a volley like we see here, or whether it's playing a softer shot from the back of the court, or a dink. Being on balance is critical if you want to play with consistency.
Short game, Simone is the target at least 90% of the time, it seems, on the dinks.
Yeah, and you'll just primarily see that in mixed doubles as well. You know, the men have to really work hard to get themselves into a point. And
Been looking at some of the stats, Melissa, and we said earlier that Yates and Jardine had nearly a 50-50 distribution of drops and drives on their third shots, soft balls versus fast ones. Well, that's changed here in game number 2. So far, they've hit only 3 third shot drives, but 11 third shot drops. So no doubt after losing that first game, they went back and they sat down and they said, hey, we're not overpowering. They're too good at the net with these fastballs. Let's start dropping it softly into the kitchen and work the dink game.
Kovalova and Wright can tie here with a point.
great consistency being shown here by both ladies. Kyle ready at any moment, as is Matt.
This takes incredible focus to be able to stay in this rally so long, hitting high quality balls again and again. Let's see who blinks first.
This so far is the longest rally of the game. And that will certainly not only fire up Simone, but will fire up this crowd.
So while balls are normally hit over the net, if you get pulled out wide enough, you can hit around the net post. It can be as low as you want. Hitting it lower, the better. And that's what we saw here from Simone, a great forehand around the post shot, also known as an ATP.
Back-to-back winners.
And that's not an easy shot that Kyle just
We
made.
got a timeout here from Wright and Kovalova. They want to regroup and stop the momentum.
Kovalova and Wright trying to weather the storm. Right now, all the momentum on Jardim and Yates' side. One more look, and what could be the shot of the match so far. Second game here at the Minto U.S. Open Pickleball Championships.
U.S. Open Pickleball Championships on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Franklin, the official bag, glove, and starter set of the U.S. Open Pickleball Championships. And by ilovepickles.org, a place to celebrate all things pickled.